Hi, I'm Marianne from Lux Yacht World, and I want to tell you about a conversation that quietly changed the way I think about new yachts entering the charter market. A few years ago, I was speaking with a charterer who had been booking the same Greek islands route for 8 years. Same yacht, same general itinerary, same reliable crew. He knew exactly what he was getting every single June. And honestly, for a long time, that certainty was the product. He wasn't buying a yacht. He was buying the absence of surprises. Then a broker called him in January about a newly delivered 62-meter that had just entered the charter market. First season out of the shipyard, pristine condition, availability that hadn't been touched by a single charter week. He booked it almost on instinct, which surprised even him because this is not a man who makes decisions on instinct. He called me afterwards to debrief, the way people in this world sometimes do, and I expected him to talk about the guest cabins, the beach club, the tender garage. He mentioned all of that briefly, but what he kept coming back to was the crew. Fresh team, first season together, something to prove. Breakfast laid on deck every morning before he was even awake, route suggestions he hadn't asked for, delivered the night before with a handwritten note, a level of attention and anticipation that he said, and I'm quoting him directly here, you simply cannot manufacture after 20 back-to-back charter weeks. Now here is what I find genuinely interesting about that story. When industry insiders discuss new super yachts joining charter fleets, which they do constantly, the conversation almost always lives in the specs. LOA, beam, guest capacity, which naval architect, which interior designer, how many tenders, whether there's a touch-and-go helipad, and all of that matters. Of course it does. A new 70-meter hitting the market with a glass-bottom pool and a submarine tender is a legitimate news event in this industry. But the human dimension of a new-to-fleet yacht in its first season, that part rarely comes up in the same breath. And I think it should, because it is actually one of the strongest arguments for booking a newly delivered yacht, and one that sophisticated charterers are starting to understand intuitively, even if the marketing materials don't make the case explicitly. Think about what the first charter season means for a crew. These are professionals who have trained for this. In many cases, they've spent months preparing the yacht before a single guest walked up the gangway. They know every corner of that vessel in a way a crew inheriting a yacht mid-season never quite does. They are not coasting on muscle memory. They are alert. They are proving themselves to an owner who is watching, to a management company that has a reputation to build on this asset, and frankly to themselves. That alertness has a texture. Guests feel it without necessarily being able to name it. The response times are tighter. The personalization goes deeper. The chef is not running a greatest hits menu from 3 seasons ago. The first mate isn't managing the guests around the yacht's known limitations. Everything is still being discovered, including what this particular charter party loves, and a motivated crew in that environment will find out fast and deliver it. Now let me be precise about something because I don't want to oversell this. Not every newly delivered yacht entering charter is the same story. A yacht can be brand new and still have teething issues, systems that haven't been fully bedded in, crew dynamics that are still forming. First seasons are also learning seasons, and a sophisticated charterer should go in with that awareness. What mitigates that risk is the management company behind the yacht. The best operators know this. They do not treat a first charter season as a live experiment at the guest's expense. They overcrew. They over-resource. They have a captain who has done this specific role before, even if this particular team is new. They pre-position so that the learning happens in the weeks before the first charter, not during it. So when you're evaluating a newly delivered yacht that's entered the market, the questions I'd be asking are not just about the specs. Ask who the management company is and what their track record looks like on asset launches. Ask about the captain's specific charter experience. Ask whether the yacht has completed a shakedown program. Ask how many charter weeks they're taking in the first season, because a responsible owner and management team will limit availability in year one, and that restraint is actually a quality signal. The yachts that come to market and try to fill every week immediately are telling you something.